We used to pre-order games to make sure we'd get a copy on launch. But with the rise of digital downloads, not getting a copy of your most anticipated game is becoming a problem of the past. Why then, between all the posters, cosmetics, extra levels, finger puppets, and countless other pre-order bonuses, does it feel like games companies are more intent than ever on getting us to pre-order? The obvious answer is that they want to lock in the sale before the game comes out, so that even if the game ends up reviewing poorly or doesn't deliver on what the marketing promised, they'll still have the sale. The other, less obvious reason sees companies making millions just by getting your money sooner, and it all has to do with the time value of money and the concept that $1 today is worth more than that same dollar tomorrow. To better showcase how this works, let's look at it from the perspective of CD Projekt Red, whose Cyberpunk 2077 had a mind-blowing 8 million pre-orders. Without getting too in-depth into the numbers, let's assume that all the pre-orders were for the base version of the game and that they all happened just 1 month before release. Assuming the distributors or online storefront fees are around 30% of the selling price, at $60 a pop, CD Projekt Red would take home $336 million before the game even comes out. They can now essentially do whatever they want with the cash, but regardless of what they do, getting it a month early will make them a bunch of extra money. Even if they were just to park it into a high-interest savings account for the month before the game comes out, at 2%, they'll earn hundreds of thousands of dollars extra in interest by just having got the money a month early. And a company like CD Projekt Red can use that money way more effectively to get an even higher rate of return. For example, they could use it to pay down debt and save upwards of $1.4 million on interest payments, or they could invest it into other projects and earn an even higher rate of return. All that to say that just having the cash a month earlier for a big company like CD Projekt Red can mean hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in additional revenue. So it's no wonder they're pushing for pre-orders. You're probably thinking now that this all sounds like a pretty good deal for games companies. So then, what about us as consumers? What do we get out of this deal? Well, for the most part, we get small bonuses that normally aren't worth much. The bonuses are, however, normally pretty effective in getting the biggest fans to pre-order so they don't miss out on anything in-game, and are mainly just a FOMO tactic used to scare people into pre-ordering. The pre-order bonuses are also oftentimes just items that were ripped out of the base game, and while mostly minor, their removal makes the overall experience slightly worse for anyone who didn't pre-order. But by far the worst part of pre-ordering is that as consumers, we're taking on a huge risk as to whether or not the game's going to be any good or even functional at launch, as without being able to watch reviews, we're flying in the dark. This has been a huge problem with many recent releases that are either massive disappointments or broken beyond belief. Now, are pre-orders pure evil? No. It's totally fine to pre-order a game if you really want the bonuses offered or you want to support the company making it. But before you do, consider the risks and be wary that no matter the reputation of the company, until the game's released and independent reviews are out, you're gambling your money and like a lottery ticket, need to be okay with losing it all. Finally, I'd like to highlight that pre-orders can be especially helpful for smaller companies like indie devs who don't have the funding of big studios. For these smaller companies, pre-orders and pre-order adjacent tactics like crowdfunding and early access have resulted in amazing games that otherwise may not have been made. In contrast, it's hard to believe that big corporations need the extra money from pre-orders to fund their games. Thanks for watching.